Hello and welcome to the Three Hamster Boys YouTube channel. My name is Jeff and right now we are in the middle of the Maybe 40-Day Challenge. Today is day 33. As you notice, we did not have one for day 32, which is the third weekend in a row where I've missed one of my videos. This time though, the reason we missed was because I was not in town. My whole family and I, we drove up to DC because my youngest son was celebrating his graduations from the National Conservatory of the Dramatic Arts. And it had me thinking about what are those milestone times in your life? I think that everyone has those stepping stones in life where things change or things progress forward or maybe step backwards. But there are times when you say, this is a milestone. This is a stepping stone that really changes the pathway that you're on. And for my son, yesterday's graduation was a milestone point. And we'll take a step back, because as I look back at my life, I think there are times when there are stepping stones in what you do. And nowadays we end up celebrating a lot of stepping stones, but we don't celebrate the milestones as distinct in different times in our lives. My sons had graduation from preschool, they had graduation from kindergarten, they had graduation from elementary school, they had graduation from middle school, and then eventually they had graduation from high school. And now this year, my one son is celebrating his graduation from the conservatory, and my other son is celebrating his graduation from Shenandoah University, and he had also a graduation from community college. And I think that although those steps were important, they weren't milestone changing steps. And I'll kind of put that distinction in a clearer place. So when I graduated from high school, it was not a milestone event for me. A lot of people will go from high school to college. It's a milestone if it changes the path of your life. I think that when you graduate high school, go to college, really it's just a step toward a greater milestone point. For me, high school was just a step. Because when I joined the Navy when I was a senior in high school, I just needed to get done with high school so that I could go to boot camp, I could go to what they called A school or trade school, then I had to go to nuclear power school, then I had to go to nuclear power training school, which is academic and then the practical side of it. And then not till I reported to my first submarine did I consider that a milestone event. Me reporting to my first submarine meant I'm done with the schooling, I'm done with the theoretical, I'm done with understanding what my job is, and now I'm going to go do it. So although I graduated high school, I was pretty obnoxious because I told my mom that she could have my tassel because I did it for her, I didn't do it for me. I knew in my heart of hearts that the real point in which my life would change, that milestone in my life, was when I reported to my first submarine. And when I stepped onto the USS Honolulu for the first time and I reported to duty and I was sitting there actually doing my job, it felt like a culmination and the beginning of some great adventure. And so that's what I consider milestones. For my son, were things that he's done throughout his life, but getting through the National Conservatory of the Dramatic Arts was a milestone event. And this is why. He got through high school, he was homeschooled with us, and then in January of 2020, he moved to DC and lived in an apartment. So for his parents, who were very concerned and very worried about this, because here he is, he just turned 19, hadn't lived out of the house, and he was going to a big city. The National Conservatory is really a very, very small school. And so there's not dorms. There is a support mechanism there, but it really is a trade school. It is a school where you have a mix of ages there, and most people are living at apartments, or they could be living at home, but most of them were living in apartments. They were working. And so our son was going to this school really for the first time away from home, and he was going to DC. So we're already worried about it. 3 months later, the pandemic happens. And so it is in that environment that he is going to school. It was an incredibly important transformation for him. He got to be in an apartment by himself. He got to learn how to do all these things, which all of us have to do. He was in the middle of all of this pandemic stuff. And then in December, he finished school. So last May, the school is very small, so it has one graduation a year. So last May, he graduated from the main actor's school. So he got his certificate in acting. But what he did was he did 2 more semesters of the advanced acting. And this graduation represented his completion of really 3 years or 6 semesters of acting, focused on every aspect, the financial, the business, all sorts of different types of performing. And what that means is that all these steps up to here were just stepping stones. Getting that diploma yesterday was a milestone. It meant that he was not done with learning, but he was at the point where now he could start his career. And it was the same feeling I had when I reported to my first submarine was, now I'm starting my career, my life. And so it was great to see. We were able to go up there. So there's some pictures I was going to add into this. So there's going to be a picture of him graduating, getting a certificate. There's a picture of his ensemble that did the advanced acting piece. Then there's pictures of his advanced acting instructor, who is Amanda, who is fantastic. And then you see the 2 directors, Nan and her husband. And so it was just, they were so instrumental and so supportive. And it was, it's not normal for someone right out of high school to go to this conservatory. Usually they're a little bit older. So when they talked to Nick and he auditioned and he was able to get into this conservatory, it was a big deal. And then, so he accomplished that. It's a milestone. It's a big change for him. And then the best part was afterwards, we got to see some of our friends up in DC who are Korean, and they took us to this fantastic Korean restaurant. And I'm going to put the name and some of the pictures from the restaurant in there. And so it was the perfect night. It was a perfect day. The weather outside was horrible. It was rainy. It was terrible. But it was the perfect day because it really marks a change and a milestone. What I would say to everybody that's watching this is that you need to recognize these milestone days. You need to recognize and relish and celebrate these milestone days. It's okay to celebrate graduating from preschool or graduating from kindergarten, but for these milestone dates, you need to understand that these are life-changing. Your path is going to be different tomorrow. Your path is going to be brand new tomorrow, and that you are at the point where a new adventure begins, a new sensational part of your life. It may not seem that way, but it is different. And even in the negative sides of your life where new milestones occur, whether it's the passing of someone very close or your life is changing, there are still changes and a new adventure begins. And one of the things that I've always said is that even though things change and things always change, You just have to say, I'm going to start this new adventure, brand new, fresh, and looking forward. That's the video for today. I just can't tell you how proud I am of my son, of both my sons, because the oldest one will be graduating, but that's not a milestone for him. He is going to go get his graduate degree. So graduating from undergraduate is a huge deal. It's a fantastic deal. But for him, it's not a milestone. He is going to continue on the same path, get his master's degree. So that's just remarkable. But his milestone will be after his master's degree, then his life will change. It'll be a huge path. All right? I hope this was curious, eventful, whatever. Hopefully you'll like the pictures. I'm just trying to embarrass my son. But please, if you like these videos, you like what I'm doing, we're coming toward the end of this. And then they won't be every day, that's for sure. Hopefully the quality will be better. But follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at 3 Hamster Boys. We might try to bring in some other social media. We're trying to make that determination. If you like this video, press the like button. If you'd like to see more of these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is going to be some really creative stuff that we're doing, and it's going to be less, spontaneous and much more information and related videos and stuff as we do more scripted and are able to spend more time and get some of the more meat of these videos done. So I appreciate you watching us. Sorry we missed yesterday, but it was a great reason why. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, and goodbye.